Hi everyone, it's Nicole, and I'm here with another layout that I got completed, that I completed at the crop a month ago. And this one was about going part time back in June. So the morning, it was on June 20th. I got out that morning and got dressed for work and then took some selfies. And I'm not a big selfie person, but I took some selfies because I really wanted to document going part time. And those of you who are new to my channel, I work for Ambulance Dispatch, which is part of the 911 system, and I've been there for 11 years, which I have loved. I love what I do. I love that you're helping people. I love that it's challenging, but at the same time, it's a very hard job, very emotional, very busy. At the end of the day, your mind is brain dead. Like you just can't think. And there's always a lot of noise and, a lot of bings and dings, and it can really wear on a person. And the usual time I guess that people stay at that job is, I think it's less than 5 years, the turnaround. I think it's closer to probably 3 to 5. And there is like a handful of us. Like I said, I've been there. It's going to be 11 years in February, and I'm 11th in seniority. And it was time for me to go part-time. I was getting to the point where, if you remember, if you've been here, following me for a while, you know that for the last year since, I think moving into the new house just kind of was sort of the drop that made the bucket overflow. It was because they say that moving into a new house it can cause a lot of stress too, right? It's a joyful thing, but it can cause a lot of stress. And then you got a stressful job, and it was just sort of the drop that made the bucket overflow, and I could feel it. I became, if you remember, in the last year up to a few months, 5 months ago, I was barely uploading. Like I was uploading maybe once or twice a month, and that was it. I wasn't on social media. I became really introvert, and even at home, I spent a lot of time in my bedroom. Like I just could not socialize. I just kind of would block myself away from the craziness. Even if it wasn't that crazy at home, it felt crazy because just having that craziness at work, at home, when I got home, it had to be quiet all the time. And, basically it was a burnout, right? And I was losing weight, my blood was out of whack, and I just wasn't myself at all. And so anyway, I went to the doctor, and I needed to go part-time because, so we decided as, a family that, yeah, we were going to have to make some changes. And my husband said, you've wanted to, do classes online, and, you did it a year ago, and you haven't posted any classes it was almost a year at that point. So he said, it was a year. It was the May before. So he said, just focus on that, go part-time. And so I went part-time in June, and then it took me a good 3 months to get my head right. Like for me, and the way I explained it at work was for me to feel human again. And even now, like it's been 5.5 months, and even now I still feel some days are harder than others, but I'm getting there. I'm totally getting there. So I just wanted to say with that, just a big, huge thank you for all your support. Right now, this month, well, I guess it was last month, for Black Friday, it just happened that that's when everything was going to be done. So I decided to make it like a Black Friday thing, but it's a customer appreciation. So I did a 2-for-1 class, and so it's 2 full classes for the price of 1, and that's still on. It's in the description below. And also I put all my classes at 50% off. And I have 6 classes plus 1 tutorial, how to make your own iris tray, like a container. So again, just thank you so much. Like that little die cut says there, the dream begins, and that's exactly what it is. And so this is, in the journaling, that's what I talk about a little bit, was how I was feeling, and where I've had cancer in the past. My husband was afraid that that it might make that come back, or a different type of cancer, or because stress is not good, and I wasn't sleeping anymore, and just a whole bunch of stuff. I had lost a bunch of weight, and ever since I've went part-time, I gained a whole bunch of weight. And I mentioned last week there that I went to the doctor, and my blood is normal for the first time in 10 years. So and I'm going to stay there. Oh, sorry about that. My alarm to get ready for work, not to get ready for work, but to wake up, because I'm working night tonight. But anyway, sorry about that. But I've been awake for hours. I just forgot to turn it off. But I still want to stay there part-time for a bit, because I still totally believe in that job, I guess you want to say. There needs to be people there to be able to take that call that nobody wants to make. And like I said, at one point I said to my husband, I said, I cannot take one more call that it's a mom, and I have to tell her how to do CPR on her baby, and a wife to do how to CPR on her husband, and vice versa, or on a young child, or a bad car accident. And it was like too much, and I just needed. And with my vacation, I was able to have like a good 3 months off. So I know I'm getting real today. Like, I'm exposing myself to you. Like I was not in a good place, but I'm starting to come around, and I just want to thank you all for all, because when I was gone, everybody was sending me emails and messages on YouTube and on my Facebook group saying, has anybody heard from Nicole? Like, I'm worried about her. And I was reading those messages, but I just wasn't in a place where I could respond or anything. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because you guys kept me going. And I don't want to start crying, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I did for the page. I took 4 photos. I printed it with my Canon selfie, and I took 4x6 card, and that's where I'm going to do my journaling. I took a die cut that was a circle. I added a few stickers on top of it. There was an acrylic word from Freckled Fawn that said fun, and I'm going to have fun. There was a coffee cup, which just reminded me of just being at home and being able to just go grab a coffee. And I did a little cluster right there, and then I did a cluster at the top left of the layout. And then I'm using these alphas. I absolutely love those alphas. They're like an enamel, and I'm just going to do the title Going Part-Time. And then I needed something to ground my title, so I'm going to take another piece of washi tape, which I ended up putting at the top and the bottom of that 4x6 card. I didn't know if I wanted to put it with that cluster with the coffee cup, because a lot of time I like to put my title close to an embellishment cluster. This time I decided, nope, I just want to I want to make a little shelf for it, and I'm going to put it to the left side of the layout. Either I tuck it really close to an embellishment cluster, or I put it really close to my cluster of photo, or I make sure that it's really apart. And in this instance, I put it apart. And then at the very beginning, I had put some gesso and some clear gesso, and I used a little bit of distress spray stain, put it on some packaging, added it to a little bit to the background, just to add, you know, something little extra to the background, because I had been doing quite a few layouts by this point. It was a very productive weekend. I think next time that I go to a weekend, if I can bring, it wasn't that much to bring my camera and my tripod and all that, and where I was so prepared with my page kits, I didn't need a lot of room on my table except for my mat, so I had room to put my tripod. So, and then it makes it that I have tons of layout that are ready for my YouTube channel, which I absolutely love. And this is how I had all my journaling. Instead of putting each of my journaling card in each of my page kits, because what I did was, as I did my page kits, I just put the title at the top of, you know, what the page was going to be about. And then I sat down, you know, maybe 1 hour at a time, and I did the journaling. I did, you know, maybe 5 or 6 of them. And I find that the journaling comes a little easier to me that way. And then instead of opening up each and every page kit and figuring out which page kit it belonged to, I just put a big paper clip on top, you know, through the cards. And then I just brought it with me. And then that way I was able to just flip through them. And actually it helped, because at the end I was rushed, you know, trying to get as many pages that I could. So I stopped journaling. But now I have all these cards together, and I'm going to add the journaling to those pages that I didn't add the journaling at the time, but the journaling is done. So here are some close-ups. I showed you a few little snapshots of the specials going on, and that's it. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, and if you're enjoying these videos, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.